and share my screen. Like this. So I was thinking maybe I'll just do like high level overview locations of the scripts and how they're referencing, and then we can just shortly discuss about the addition you are doing, Ricardo, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So integration tests, they are, as you know, Jenkins based, and all the pipelines, all the scripts related to the CI, including even the POW, are in Project Infra. So we have this Jenkins directory and then jobs, and we don't have too many jobs. Like the one that we're running on the PR is this integration test pipeline.
Okay.
Expecting bunch of parameters, environment variables from the builder. And then Jenkins job builder is coming to this repository, just running this script, and then this pipeline is running another shell script, which is basically cloning the dev-env and running the make, provisioning to VMHs, doing some checks, and then kills the VM and so on. That's it. So, so we use the single pipeline for different, depending on the repository, depending on some parameters, whether it's CentOS or Ubuntu, we have those parameterized, and based on those variable values, it changes and it selects specific operating system for the node, or it selects, for example, specific operating system for the target node. That is version blah blah blah. So these are all exported, defined in another script that I'm going to show, and then we're just passing and controlling everything from there. But here it is like kind of generic single Jenkins pipeline.
Okay.
So those Jenkins job builders, they are not in metalcube.io. They are in the we are part of, like, Ericsson team is part of the Ericsson the Nordics organization. And
right. Okay.
We have this Garrett Nordics for that, and all Jenkins node builders are located here. And I think I have cloned example I can show. Yeah. So this is the same. I've just cloned it locally, and we have this folder called directory called Metal3. And here we have all the definitions of the jobs, a bunch of them basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's okay. This is the first mystery unsolved for me, at least. I was a bit puzzled. I was not following. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So you probably know that we have, like, based on the API version of the cluster API provider Metal3, we have different integration tests, like V1 Alpha 4 based Ubuntu CentOS, V1 Alpha 5 based Ubuntu CentOS, V1 Beta 1 based Ubuntu CentOS. So already 6 of them. Then apart from them, we have periodic jobs, but we call them master or main jobs that run periodically, actually every day, so that they are testing the code from the master or the main branch of BMO, captain's read event, and so on. And then the rest is pre-submits, which are running on the pull request. For example, if I take one of the example, which is, let's say, running on a pull request, for example, this one, how do I know? Because it doesn't include the main prefix. If it's main, it means it's periodic. Otherwise, this is like running on a pull request, but it says cluster API provider Metal3 V1 Beta 1, which is saying which API version it's using of the provider. This is the latest. Then integration test, and then the Ubuntu means both source and the target node operating will be Ubuntu. Then if we open this one, just standard template, some ID, name, description, blah, blah, blah. These are the parameters that I was telling you earlier. So there are a bunch of parameters saying the repo name, then some basically GGB-based parameters that we're passing to the pipeline, so that we're able to test the integration test against the branch from which the pull request is coming. So these are the, like, Jenkins built-in environmental variables that we're using, like basically taking the value and then passing them to the pipeline. Here you have like API version that is being specified. Then you have the distribution where we're saying
Okay.
or CentOS, RAM for the nodes. Like I think I guess like you don't really need to change any of this. You can just copy paste.
Yeah, probably not. It's
Same here. The only thing I expect is you would create like specific trigger phrase here. So that
yes. Yeah, I mean, of course, that will be something like source or something like that.
Yeah,
I will add the trigger there. To the to the trigger phrase.
Yeah,
of course.
You just come up with something unique.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. And then here, of course, the last is that it's the script path is parameterized, but this is actually, we can see it says CI GitHub pipeline, and I think we have two other files, defaults, where we have
Okay.
which is saying that, okay, I'm going to metalcube.io project infra repo, and then the pipeline I'm looking for is this one. So it
All right.
that, and then just run. Then let's say in your case, you created a new file, like a new job. Then you have to tell for which metalcube.io repositories you want that job to be triggered. That we can figure through this projects.yaml file.
Okay.
Here, what we do, we have all the repositories of the Metalcube. For example, if I take, let's say, let me take ironic image. Yeah, this is the ironic image org metalcube.io, name of the repository. And then here we're saying the names of jobs which are allowed to be triggered for this repository.
Okay, cool.
And the names is coming like, as I was just earlier showing, like
there's going to be
name,
a name inside. Yeah, of course. There.
Yeah.
It's the name, not the ID, or it's the ID?
It's the name.
Okay.
Well, just, I'm sorry, actually I think it's ID.
Okay.
Let me confirm, because the name is actually parameterized. So
yes, exactly. That's,
yeah, sorry.
Okay, so it's
ID.
the name. Okay, cool.
So
okay,
now,
well, that's definitely more clear than before. Just I was completely missing this part.
Yeah.
So
and two different files, basically defaults, and then the projects. The rest is just mostly copy pasting jobs, just changing one parameter or like distribution and blah blah blah, and the same. Other rest is the same.
So
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just two questions. The first one is how do we add the parameter when we build the ironic image in this case? Since I have to change the argument, one of the argument when we build the image. Is there a parameter there where we can actually add this? Oh,
so you want to be able to, whenever you're triggering a job, you want to pass the parameter to the job, right? Is that?
Yeah, basically, instead of just doing a, I don't know, podman build Docker file, for example, something like that, I want to add like a --arg, and then the name of the arg equal whatever.
Yeah, I think that part will be coming from the, not even pipeline, but the script that is being called by the pipeline. We have actually one case that we're using also internally. So we have another GitHub org, and there we have we've been using like we have the CI actually, which is building the ironic from the source. And we've been using it for a while. The only difference is that you are planning to use what was the name of the image? I don't know.
So basically, the install type instead of being RPM is going to be source.
Yeah, but we're using the patch list right now in our CI. And I can actually show you just a moment.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's what we do. So we have the script, which is, you can see that it is cloning the ironic and everything, and then ironic image. It's cloning the ironic. Then it is running this one.
Okay.
And this is parameterized. This could
Yes,
be
exactly.
passed by the user, but not as a trigger phrase. So for that, we have to go to Jenkins. What we usually do, for example, let's say today I want to trigger like a build ironic with specific hash, with specific patch. Then what I would do is just a moment, let me find a little builder. Yeah, I think it's this one. So again,
Okay.
oh no, build with parameters. So this one. No, sorry, not this job. There's so many. Just a moment.
Oh yeah.
Find it. Ironic. Oh, this is input downloader.
So
yeah, you can.
Sorry, and to be able, so to be able to run the job directly from the PR, how can I add the build argument? Is it possible, or I need to access Jenkins for that?
Yeah, unfortunately, that would be nice if that's actually possible.
Yep.
We haven't found, like, I've been personally looking into it, but it's I couldn't manage it. The only thing is, like, you can just pass the trigger phrase, but you cannot attach extra arguments that would manipulate or tune the way that that script is running. The only way is we were doing through the Jenkins.
Because yeah, that's basically the entire thing for me, to be able to pass a build argument and build the image with source, and then of course trigger a job. So the only way would be go into into Jenkins and run the job from there.
That's unfortunately, I think that's
and also there is, now that I think about it, the only way would be building a different script, because what you have here is a script specific for patch list. So there is no dynamic no dynamic way, no dynamic script, or no dynamic way to add an argument, a build argument, like a generic script or something like that. So I actually need to build the script and then trigger that from Jenkins. That's
exactly. There is like in the integration test, like we never built ironic. I mean, we just use the ironic from the QA, like ready-made container image. And we don't have script which builds ironic. But we've been using it internally. This one we've built, like, I think you are going to make kind of similar script, which is basically downloading, like cloning, like the ironic code from the OpenStack.
Yes.
Then maybe do out the specific commit if we need. So after that, it is cloning the ironic image repository. Specifying the patch.
And then,
so I think you will have similar stuff, and we were actually discussing it this morning with my colleagues, that perhaps we could reuse this instead of like creating the same. I'm just thinking like how different it would be compared to using the patch list and then
well, so in that case, I mean, you could modify that script if you want. Just, well, add in the argument if the patch list is there, like you, I don't know if you saw how we modify the ironic image in Metal3 devenv, or in, I don't know if you know dev scripts in any way, but basically instead of having, like, if you go back to the script, not this one, like the actual script that you guys, it's okay. So this one.
Yeah.
So if you go here, so you see you have your Docker build, whatever, and then at the end you have -- build arg, patch list, and whatever. So instead of doing this, you basically have like, so the entire command is a variable.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, something like Docker build equal, like Docker underscore build equal, and then you put the first part, all right? So Docker build ht, image registry, container, and up to the ironic tag. Then you had, if you have patch list, for example, then you do Docker underscore build equal Docker build plus equal, and then you put the command, which will be -- build arg patch list equal $patch list file. And then if you have this other argument, which is going to be the build type, then you have, again, a Docker underscore build equal the Docker build that was before plus equal, and then you have you add the other argument.
Yeah.
So it's basically you build your command based on which variable you have, and then at the end you run the command as like you throw the command there.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just thinking because it's been a long, I think, that we wrote this script. There are a couple of things that we do before and on top of this. For example, we're also building the IPA image here instead of getting the one from RDO, and then so we're basically building IPA ironic. Then we run the dev with those images with that specific ironic and with that specific IPA just to test. And I think the case that you are planning to have is similar, because once you build, you want to probably run it at least in a dev to make sure that it really works. I mean, the build might pass, but it might behave weirdly when it's actually working on a cluster. So probably we can reuse this and do a little bit of changes. And actually, I wanted to show this one, how we change, for example, if with this ref spec, with these patches, if we have specific, by default, it's going to the head, like to the latest. But if there is specific commit, we just come here and then replace whatever in the IPA or in the ironic. But otherwise, it's just going to the head, and we just manually replace it here and then click on the build, and that's it. And I think, unfortunately, it's going to be similar for your case. But if you do it this way, then I don't think that you can trigger it from the pull request.
From the PR.
Yeah.
But I don't need to build another job either.
Yeah.
I can, so
you can just extend this.
Yes, exactly. So can I, like, for example, do a PR against the script that you showed me in Nordic's Metal3 DevTools? Is that like open or? Yeah,
it is open.
Okay.
It is just that I didn't have time, sorry, but I just wanted to kind of see if there are some extra things that we wouldn't want to have for your case. If yes, maybe we could do some sort of parameterization so that we just skip, because it might take some time. For example, if you don't need to build the IPA, then it's extra step, extra time, extra resource. So we could just put some conditions saying that, okay, if that's the case, just skip it, or if not, then run it and build it and then test it again.
Yes, of course. Makes sense.
But if I remember, we don't do too much. We built IPA. This is calling that in other script. I need to check. It's building the IPA, then we're building ironic, and then we're cloning the dev, running the make, and then using those images, and that's it. So perhaps I believe we can reuse this, and you can submit. No issues with PR submissions. It's open. But if you can just give me some time, maybe until tomorrow.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I sometimes, so far what I've done is to run to build the image from source locally. whenever I can, and then do some kind of test whenever I have time, and
Yeah.
it's okay. But of course, having an automated way to do that would be way better.
Yeah.
So, and of course, reusing the tools that we have.
Yeah.
It makes total sense.
Yeah, I think it's highly possible to just tweak a little bit the script and then extend it, and no need even to create, as you said, new job. Just reuse this extended.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what I mean. In a way or another, it's what I needed.
Yeah.
That's all.
Cool.
Really.
Then I will take a look a bit more today, and then I will update you on the slide tomorrow. And then if good, then just with PR, like just reviewing and everything there, like because there are a bunch of references calling one script, then another one, then another one.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, no rush. Whenever you have time, just let me know, and consider that for the next week I will probably not be available as much as usual.
Yeah.
So like, take your time, and thanks a lot for showing me this. It was really helpful. And again, when you're ready, just let me know.
Cool. I will do that. Yeah.
No Thanks again.
Yep. Thank you. Then I will stop the recording, and yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay.